What is up, guys? Well, it happened. It happened. I made a video yesterday and I was like, Bulls, they gotta hold this support, and they came through today. We got a big old face ripper, just monstrous bounce off of support here on SPY, right off of 390. Um, I'm just gonna get into it, get into the levels I'm seeing, talk about how I expected this a little bit, even though I did not trade it aggressively. I did draw out a scenario where we bounce from here, where we go straight through 394, and where we most likely come up here and retest 401. It's looking like that's where we're headed. But I'm also going to outline what has me a little bit worried about today, why I'm not jumping in the longs while I'm still holding a lot of my shorts, because this was a very standard kind of counter trend day. The Bears aren't just going to feast every single day. The Bears are not going to make money every day. There's going to be days of pain. There's going to be days where they try to make Bears cover their shorts. And this is exactly the kind of day we had today. So, no, not a new tab. Let's zoom out to the daily. The first thing that jumps off the chart was the super low volume. Not super low, but lower than the past 4 or 5 trading days that we've seen. So that low volume, to me, when I see a bullish day off of support with that low of volume, it does not scream to me that bulls are super strong here. It screams to me that the Bears basically just they left. They went to lunch today and they never came back. They stopped shorting. Bears, typically that happens at support. Bears are not going to continue to short at support. They're going to wait and see what happens at support. They're going to let it bounce. And what do you think? Bears are going to try to short it at 390, or do you think Bears would rather let it run up to 400 and then short it? I would probably take the latter, and that is kind of what I see when I see these low volume days, especially a day where we have Powell talking tomorrow. He's going to be at some conference talking tomorrow, and I think that's going to be very bearish. The market, that is just something you cannot ignore. I wish stocks were that easy, where I could just look at the chart and be like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen, because that has not been the case. There are other things to take into account, and one of those things is the guy who runs the entire thing, Jerome Powell, when he comes out. And do you think he's going to come out and be like, oh, hey, guys, I'm sorry about what I said at that Jackson Hole thing. That was really mean of me. I shouldn't have said all that stuff. I take it all back. We're going to be all dovish now. No, he's not going to come out and say that. He's going to come out and repeat exactly what he said again and again and again, because he wants the market to come down. They have to yank this shit down. I've been talking about this for months. And this is a conference. I think it's going to be like an open Q&A, so there's going to be reporters asking them questions. What do you think reporters are going to be asking? They're going to be asking, hey, you ever going to pivot? You ever going to slow down your rates? Are you thinking 50 basis points in this month during the FOMC? And I think he's not going to give them the answers that the bulls want to see. We're going to hear, no, we're still going to be very aggressive with the rate hikes. No, we're still going to be aggressively rolling off assets off of our balance sheet. And it's just not going to be what the market wants to hear. And the way that they set up a huge green 2% day going into that, it feels like too obvious that this is just like the most obvious bull trap, especially coming right off support. But I am not going to fight the trend that we are in. We are obviously in a short-term downtrend, and I am not going to fight it. So I was pretty hands-off today. I was not trusting in the bounce. I tried one put today. I lost $60 on, and I tried to call it. I got $5 on. So it was a $55 red day for me. I just wasn't trusting the bounce. And sometimes you don't trust the bounce and you end up being right. Other times you don't trust the bounce and the bounce just keeps bouncing and bouncing and bouncing and it doesn't stop. And that's exactly what happened today. So I will admit I was not expecting today. But I did draw out a scenario where this very thing could happen. I said yesterday, I would not be shocked one bit if we just bounce straight off of this and we just run straight up to 401. And it was looking exactly like that is going to happen. So this was not like I can't believe today's green. I thought today was definitely going to be red. This is a very standard. I kind of saw this coming. I didn't see it coming as in I was like ready to jump into calls. I saw it coming as like this would be the most painful thing for the market to do right now to the Bears. And not to the Bears. I'll take that back. To retail traders like me, just making it go straight up for no reason. While I'm sure everyone's been loading up shorts down here because it was looking so bearish that they would just rip it up into a Powell speech. And So that's why tomorrow I would not be shocked tomorrow. Mark it down. You can hold me to this. I would not be shocked tomorrow if we just gap straight up to like 400, we rip up to 401, and then we completely dump off of that level. Um, that if we rip up to 401, I'm looking at puts. I'm looking at puts. It's just that easy. Like you can look back historically. It's obvious that bears are waiting at that level. And it's such a key level. We had support at 401 back here. And then when we retested it, just went straight through it, retested it, resisted it hard, retested it, resisted it super hard. So 401 is a super key short level. If we do break through 401, I wouldn't be surprised if we come all the way up here to like 404. And if we run up to this trend line, I'm looking at shorts there too. But I'm just going to watch the price action and be very, very patient. They could do a lot of fake outs. They could rip it above 401, try to trap more bulls up here. But I honestly, very honestly think we could rip up to this trend line right at 405. Another key level up here at 405, a supply zone where sellers, um, where we've had sellers in the past. Hell, yeah, I kind of suck at this. Okay, I'm getting new at trading views. Sorry, folks. So we know sellers are waiting up here. We've had that. Sellers waiting right up there. So don't be surprised. We run up here, tap the trend line, tap that supply zone. We break above 401. That'd just be a perfect bull trap. I'm not going to fight the trend. We did get a buy signal on the system where the 10 moving average on the 30-minute chart crossed over the 50 moving average. So that's typically a buy signal. It usually has some follow through. So I'm expecting some bullishness tomorrow up until Powell talks, even after Powell talks maybe. But Friday, let's just say Friday's going to be a red day. I mean, I don't know. I've never been so confident, but usually when I'm that confident, I end up being terribly wrong. So hey, we'll see, you know. But just looking at price action, taking all emotion out of it, we ended up closing on a very very bearish looking like rounded top here. This was super interesting close to the day that we had. Just a nice little rounded top right there. I don't know. It looks a little finicky to me, but yeah, just a standard kind of day. So just looking at, it's not standard, but just a standard kind of bull trap sort of day. In my opinion. So here, looking at the Nasdaq, I actually drew this from yesterday, so it did almost exactly what I. This is too funny. It almost did exactly what I said it would do. I remember yesterday, right here, I was talking, hey, we might just very well rip off of this. And look at that line I drew. It was like perfect. I mean, that line was like exactly what the market ended up doing. I said, hey, we could rip from here, run up here to 306, and then dump from there. So I want to leave that there and see if it holds true. But I love how I drew that line because I mean, I was thinking about it. I was like, hey, this could definitely happen. We just rip from right here, run up to resistance where we know bears are definitely going to jump in, or at least try to, and then dump straight down from there. It would just be the perfect bull trap, and it looks like that could be happening. So, Nasdaq, same thing as SPY. Super green today. I don't know, not much else to say about it. I mean, just another bounce at support, and that's really all there is to say. That's why I'm not like, oh, we should be looking bullish. Like you expect bounces at support, and you expect bounces and then retests, and then maybe a bounce again, and then maybe a retest again, and the market will do it over and over again. Also, something I noticed was another. I mean, the Nasdaq has an even worse one. Another just rounded top on top there. I don't know. It looks a little dumpy heading into tomorrow. Well, I'm gonna keep an eye on futures, see what happens on the futures, but see if there's any kind of yeah, just kind of same thing as Spy, just in this nice little channel. Um, jeez, pretty clean looking channel. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. What happens tomorrow? Same thing as Spy. Could gap up to like 303, something insane. That would actually be a ridiculous gap. Probably a gap up. Yeah, maybe 303 actually. Back into this little consolidation, nice little consolidation sort of kind of zone. Where we've had sellers in the past. And yeah, I mean, this is just if you look at the RSI, I don't have RSI up on TradingView, so I'll go back to think or swim. If you look at the RSI in the daily, I mean, we're getting towards oversold, and that usually happens when you get that close to oversold. You get these little bounces like back here and back in May, get a nice little bounce before it ended up eventually going back down. That is kind of a typical thing to expect, and yeah, that's why I'm just like, I mean, yeah, Green Day. I'm not shocked. I'm certainly not shocked by this. So I think just a lot of bears did get roasted today. I was watching a lot of other S&P analysis videos, like options drops. I mean, all these people were just like, tomorrow gonna be red as fuck. I think a lot of people were expecting red today, and that's why do you think we're so green? Everyone's expecting red. Everyone's expecting this floor to just fall through and for us to make a new low. But looking forward on SPY, it is super super obvious in my opinion that this is an absolute like last ditch effort from bulls. Like bulls absolutely, if they have any hope of holding SPY up and not creating a new low on SPY, then they absolutely must hold this level. I mean, if we don't hold this trend line support, it is so clear that we're making a new low on SPY. It is just, it's almost too obvious, in my opinion. That's why they're going to make it a slow and painful experience for both sides. But we could just very simply go straight up there, bounce off of that, break through, and then just do a thing like this where we eventually make a new low on SPY. We definitely, I would expect to bounce off 380, slight bounce off 380, maybe test 388 off of that. I don't think it's going to be straight down. I think it's going to be a painful kind of stairs down. We might get some, if we get that panic, the capitulation kind of sell off, then it will go straight down. But I don't think it's going to be that easy. I just don't. I think FOMC coming up on the 21st over here is going to be, or is it the 21st? FOMC meeting. Yep, 20th, 21st. So that is right over here. That's, I mean, that's why we could very easily just chop around in this range. We could just easily, I could see this happening so easily where and no one wants to see this. Everyone wants to see action. Everyone wants to see movement. But we could so easily just run up 401, bounce off that, come back down to 395, bounce off that, come up to 398, bounce off that, bounce, 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 and just stay in this range until we get to the FOMC and then dump. And that would be a lot of pain. That would be destroy people's puts. Everyone who has October puts, that would just destroy their puts, and especially September puts. So that is another highly likely outcome. No one wants to say, yeah, we're probably going to chop sideways because everyone wants movement, but we've done it so many times. I mean, we did it. This was big pain back here when we did this in June. I mean, look at that. That is just a nightmare. And then same kind of thing we did over here where we just kind of bounce, 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 chop, chop, chop. Um, we've done it over here where we chopped in this range. I mean, this was 8 trading sessions before we got a big drop. So the market is very capable of chopping us around, and that is just always maximum pain. Because if we get tomorrow, we open at 401, we get a big red day, we drop down to 392. I bet you a lot of bears are gonna load up, and they're gonna be thinking, hey, yep, we're obviously going to support, and this time we're gonna break it. You're gonna load up, and then the day after that, another green day, and then they're like, oh no, my friggin' shorts are getting ripped. And then just back and forth, and that's exactly what happened back in June. It happened to me. I mean, Jesus Christ. Look at this. Big green day, bulls, red, more red. Oh, a huge green, we're breaking out. Nope, dropping down, and dump. So you gotta be prepared for all outcomes. This is why I'm trying to draw out these different outcomes so I can tell myself, hey, I thought about this. This was part of the plan. I saw this kind of thing potentially happening. That way, because I keep doing in the past where I've drawn out a plan, and if it doesn't adhere perfectly to that plan, I panic, I get roasted, I change everything. But I think that is not what I should be doing off of just one green day off support, especially. But for now, It's looking like we could see some more upside. So it's gonna be painful if you got puts, if you got shorts. I'm short on Amazon. I'm short on Square. I'm short. I think that's about it. I have one hedge put on Nvidia, but otherwise I'm holding a lot of Google. And Google, I mean, geez, let's look at Google. Google carried the market today. Google just and oh what? Huh? Hey, what? Wow, look at that. Look at Google with the big bounce offs of support too. How about that? So this is just, and it really makes me confident when I look around the market and I say, oh, that's why everything bounced. Everything was sitting right on support. Google bounced straight off of support to the dot. I mean, look at that trend line. Just beautiful. So it could just run straight up to this support or this resistance trend line. It could rip out of it, fake us out, come all the way up here to 114. Another reason I'm skeptical about today, I forgot about Apple. Apple could barely squeeze out a green day to save its life. I mean, Apple was doing some weird stuff today. And oh, I also draw. There a way to fix this on TradingView so I don't have to readjust this price scale every single time? Look at that. I drew the same exact thing on Apple. I drew a line. I was like, hey, Apple could just run up straight to here. I love how I drew these lines, but I was not fully expecting these things. This is kind of just a hypothetical. But Apple could barely squeeze out a green day today. I mean, Apple was having some trouble today. That's another reason I was super duper skeptical about today's green trading day. Because while SPY and NASDAQ just went straight up, look at Apple. I mean, Apple was trying to do everything it could to not let the market go green today. But finally, it gave in towards the end of the day. And that should have been my signal to get some calls, was when Apple finally broke out and it finally got some upside. But that's another thing that's got me a little worried. You would think Apple, after it's sold off this much from the high, it's sold off so much from 176, it's dropped $20. You would think if it got an opportunity to bounce, it completely would bounce like crazy hard, but it just did not today. And that has me a little bit worried. It does have a little nice, kind of cheeky little, man, that's nice, just rounded bottom. But still in the downtrend, still just have our lower low, and it looks like we made a lower high. We haven't made a higher high. That's kind of, and that's just what you see everywhere. That's another reason I'm not panicking. SPY, we haven't made a higher high. We haven't broken 401. We're coming off a lower low, so we're still in that downtrend. Don't fight the trend until it changes, and that's always painful when you get caught in the wrong way and it flips on you. But hasn't flipped completely yet. So, anyways, guys, that's really all I got on this today. Tomorrow could gap up and rip up to 401 and then just dump off of that. If it does, I got my finger on the trigger to buy some SPY puts off that, and I think that is just a hugely super low risk to super high reward trade. If you buy that 401 put with a 403 stop loss or so, even a 404 stop loss, I think you're positioning yourself. If it's like a month out, you're positioning yourself for some huge gains if you do something like that. But anyways, guys, we'll keep it a little light until we get to the CPI. I'm not taking anything huge until we get to CPI. I don't know. I just can easily see this market chopping. So with that in mind, good luck, folks. Hope y'all rule this market, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.